tough tussle with Novak. Andy, how did you feel you performed today?
I mean, at points did well, not necessarily the whole match. I mean, you know, he did play extremely well, gave me very few errors. Started hitting the ball a bit close to the lines, and you know, and I was sort of dropping a bit far back behind the baseline against him. Obviously, you know, if you're letting, you know, the best players control points, you know, that's tough, and you know, I wasn't able to dictate enough points after the beginning of the match and made it tough.
And even at 5-4 down in this first set, did you still believe that maybe you could turn it around because maybe it was going to be a bit tight? Or
yeah, well, when I got the break at 5-2, then you know, the problem was I was such a long way behind by that stage that, you know, obviously when you're trying to do something for the first time and you've not experienced it before, you know, that can throw you off, you know, a few extra nerves. And, you know, in that game I was close to making it, I think, very interesting, but, you know, he did well to finish it at the end.
Andy, how big a factor was serve today? Because the first set you had a really good high percentage of first serves, but then it seemed to drop off quite a bit in the second and the third. Was that the key, do you think, in the end, for not putting pressure on him?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, I mean, I didn't serve particularly well today.
Andy, obviously not the way you wanted to finish, but how do you think you'll look back on this fortnight?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously difficult just now to know. I'm very disappointed. You know, from sort of 13 days ago, you know, I maybe would have signed to have been in this position. You know, I was struggling. You know, I was a couple of points from going out of the tournament in the first round. So, you know, but then when you get there, obviously you wanna win. You know, and I didn't do that today. So right now I'm very disappointed. But obviously the tournament could have been quite different. You know, had I gone out in the first round.
Andy, you've had the fortune or misfortune of being in the same generation of three guys now who've all completed career Grand Slams, and just wondering how you put in context what Novak's been able to do here, winning all four in a row. First guy to do that since Laver, and just the general dominance he's had at Masters levels 2 and the last 12-18 months.
I mean, I spoke about it on court. I can't really say much more than that. It's such a rare thing to happen, and obviously, you know, I think the depth in the game just now is strong. Some people might think differently, but the level of tennis, I think, is pretty high now, and it's something that you probably won't see for a long time. And yeah, his performances over the last 18 months to 2 years have been exceptional and deserves to be number one.
Andy, how much bearing did the fact that you played effectively 5 hours longer than Novak on the way to the final have? A couple of guys that know a bit about the game, played the game, said they heard you shout up to your box, "My legs have gone," early in the third set.
I mean, I think both of us had tough runs to the final for different reasons. Obviously, played a lot of long matches at the beginning of the tournament, and then, you know, the match with Stan wasn't that long, but it was, in the match with Richard, I think it was just over 3 hours. Novak had to play kind of every day, although his matches were more comfortable, so it was a little bit different. You know, but I think the conditions have been challenging for all the players. Very heavy, you know, tough conditions, and if you aren't the one sort of dictating the points, you end up doing quite a bit of running, and it's not easy. So it was tough. I mean, I kept fighting to the end, but you know, wasn't able to play my best when I needed to.
Andy, did you think he settled a bit after saving breakpoint first game, second set? Because he probably, well, you obviously that you were much stronger player in the first set.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think so. The first a little bit unlucky on that point, so he got a bad bounce on that break point. But then after that, obviously second set, he started to free up a little bit more and got the break immediately after that, and probably started hitting the ball a little bit better. But there's always sort of, I don't know, changes in momentum and like ups and downs throughout the best of 5 set matches, and unfortunately I couldn't capitalise on that chance. Maybe that would have changed things a little bit.
Having had some good tussles with Novak in recent weeks on clay, which was never supposed to be your surface, how much confidence does that give you that it could be different perhaps if next time you meet is on grass at Wimbledon?
We only played twice on grass. I won both those matches. I have played some of my best tennis on clay for sure over the last few weeks, and definitely last couple of years. Hopefully that translates well onto the grass, which is a surface that comes way more natural to me. So yeah, I'll try and have a good run on the grass, and if we meet on the grass, try and learn from the last few weeks' matches and see things I could have done better.
Andy, you've said in the past that you've almost sort of enjoyed the rivalry with Novak, and that it's sort of driven you to be a better player. But isn't there a part of you that slightly curses the fact that you were sort of born just a week apart from a guy who's turned out to be such an exceptional player?
Not really. Obviously, the guys that have been around the last few years have made things, difficult for me. I've been close-ish to winning all of the slams now, and unfortunately, all of them have done it instead. But I guess I got a few more years left to try and do that. But I think when I finish, I'll be more proud of my achievements. Maybe none of the big events that I've won, have I done it without beating one of those guys, or or a couple of them. So yeah, maybe when I finish playing, my achievements will mean a little bit more.
Andy, I'm sorry to go off topic, but you're such a good student of sports and of boxing. And the great Muhammad Ali died the other day. He obviously changed the sport and changed the world. Could you just reflect on his legacy, what he meant to you, what he meant to boxing? It was a sad day, obviously, yesterday.
Obviously he'd been struggling for a long time physically, but it did seem like things deteriorated very sort of quickly over the last couple of days. So yeah, it was a shame. He's an amazing man. I watched and read a lot about him, and even like over the last day or so, like I went on the BBC Sport web page, and there was like the first 11 stories were like all on him, and all different things. Some were him speaking to kids, some were him the way that he talked before his fights. Some were stories of other boxers who fought against him or had met him, and what he meant to them. And yeah, he was clearly just an amazing man, and he was actually the one person that I'd always said I would love to meet him. I don't meet loads of famous people, but he's one person that I would have loved to have got to meet. So I'm sad about that as well.
Andy, over here. Sorry. When you think about today's match, is it a match that you think you could have done anything differently to change what was happening, or did Novak just start playing too well?
Well, I could have served better for sure, and served particularly well. And you know, on this surface, obviously, you know, that it's harder to sort of get 3 points on your second serve. Maybe on the quicker surfaces, you know, you can do that. You know, you serve 100-mile-an-hour second serve on the grass is a little bit different to doing it on a slow, heavy clay court. You know, it's going to come back more often, and that's something I would have liked to have done. Better today, because in the first set, obviously, when I was serving a little bit better, you know, I was able to dictate a few more of the points, whereas if you're hitting second serves a lot more often, you kind of on the back foot more often as well, and then spend more time defending.
And after the game before, you said the atmosphere was tough in the audience. Can you describe how it was today for you, and maybe regarding the last game of the first set?
Yeah, I mean, that was obviously tough, you know, as well. But you know, I handled it well, I think, for the last couple of weeks. Considering hasn't always been easy, but you know, I handled it well. I'm happy with that. Wouldn't have done anything differently, really. And yeah, it was, you know, it was good for me. It's good to go through things like that as well in your career. You know, toughens you up a little bit, and you know, when I go back to playing at Queens and Wimbledon, the atmosphere will be a lot different, and you know, will give me a boost for sure.
And still, were you surprised that more part of the crowd wasn't pushing for you, or that it wasn't even between you and Novak? Was it a bit disappointing at some moment of the match? Or?
No, I wasn't disappointed the last few days at all. I don't mind that at all. It's, you know, it's obviously doesn't always make things easy, but like I said, I handled it extremely well. It was not an issue for me, and you know, actually a lot of the matches I played here, you know, Berg, Gasquet, Stan, and today, no, I was very, very happy with how I handled it, and you know, what Novak achieved today is something extremely special, and a lot of people would have wanted to have seen that and been a part of that, and you know, he deserves the support he gets.